Global elites proposed the idea of energy blackouts in order to fight climate change, and now that's starting to be implemented around the world.
I'm going to do something a little bit different. Guys, I was preparing to do this video. I was collecting what was going on during the day, but I said, you know what? I'm not even going to just pull up all these different tabs and try to sort and try to create this thing because literally everything on my timeline is it's just wild. And I just thought, you know what? Let's just scroll through Melanie's timeline on X so we can see what is coming out right now. We're just going to run through it, guys, because it's everything we've been talking about and it continues to grow worse by the day. Am I saying this to scare you? Am I trying to scaremonger or any of that? No. What I'm trying to point you towards is understanding the times that we are in. We are at the end. We are in the last days. The beast system is rising. And what is going on with this war where they are intentionally targeting energy and creating this energy crisis is to bring the entire world to its knees, to enslave us through the use of digital ID and to ration off, all of the things we need to survive. I mean, there is not a level of this that is going on that does not point directly to it. In fact, the last video I did, it's a documentary. These experts all around the world, they did last year. They show you the 2030 agenda that they want, where the beast system, where everyone will come under essentially the mark of the beast. They don't call it that. It's called the 2030 agenda. You will not be able to buy or sell or exist in society at that point. This is what they're putting. But understand that that's when everyone has to take the mark. And we know that timing is in the tribulation after the rapture. There is 7 years of tribulation before the final judgment, before Armageddon. In the middle of those 7 years, 3.5 years, the Antichrist will sit in the third temple and proclaim himself God. And that there will be a one world religion under him, worshiping him, and that everyone has to take the mark of the beast. If you do not take the mark of the beast, well, you will be beheaded. To eat, drink, have anything, it's going to be under that. So I've proven that it's not just biblically this has been taught. Like, guys, Peter Thiel, who is part of this mass surveillance system under Palantir, he's obsessed with the Antichrist. He's over at the Vatican this past week talking about AI and the Antichrist. Like, there are documentaries made about his obsession with this. Obsessed. And when I tell you, you don't have to believe in it, but they do. And everything that they're doing is to bring the world into a one world government, a new world order. It's not just a great reset, which many people are saying. This is the beast system coming online. They want this to be the final thing. And we know this is everything that the Bible talked about. But let's just go down my timeline. It says energy blackout laws coming to New York City. All right.
Global elites proposed the idea of energy blackouts in order to fight climate change, and now that's starting to be implemented around the world. The United Kingdom Parliament has just announced that they are going to be implementing blackouts for landmarks and all non-essential lights to be switched off from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. to raise awareness of environmental issues. They're doing this in collaboration with Earth Hour 2026, a WWF-led global event that is partnered with, you guessed it, the World Economic Forum. And now New York City is proposing a law that would be called the Dark Skies Protection Act, and it would require businesses and residents to turn off non-essential lights from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. If this is passed, Times Square will be exempt, but everything else will be going dark. You have to wonder if governments around the world are starting to prepare the public to comply with energy rationing. It sure seems so to me.
All right, so let's continue. I want to get this thing off my screen. Hold on, that thing at the top. Hold on. Okay, got it off. Now look at this one. JP Morgan just put a clock on the global economy and it's ticking down to zero. Asia hits the wall first, April 1st. Europe follows April 10th. And North America, April 15th. These dates are when energy stockpiles run dry if the Hormuz blockade holds. It will. It will continue to hold. That's part of the plan. They need the energy to run out. They need to create this global energy lockdown, which is just the first domino in order to implement their new world system. The dates are when, okay, I already said that. Translation: Iran doesn't need to defeat the US military. It just needs to outlast our supply chains. This is this is a attrition war on the global economy, and it's already underway. I assess a 35% chance Trump gets the Strait of Hormuz meaningfully reopened before April 15th. The date of Hormuz blockade will start impacting the United States. Stay frosty. But no, no, no. It won't be open, guys. This is part of the plan, the elites, right? This is part of the plan. This is why they're directly targeting energy infrastructure. Well, let's continue. He has just had some funny kind of like thing. All right. Oh, this is interesting. The new robotic security dog patrolling Atlanta, Georgia. They are patrolling apartment complexes, parking lots, and construction sites. Some people find these very eerie and dystopian. The company is working towards getting a government contract with law enforcement. This is something that you would see in China. So here we go. I'm trying to get it. Yeah, there we go.
Bro, this is security right now. Hi, oh, it's waving. Bro,
Nice and cute, nice and cute. Make of that of what you want. But let's continue. Okay, this person's going crazy. He says, stop scrolling. Do you understand what $200 oil actually means to your life? Because most people only think about the pump. Oil isn't just fuel, it's in your food, your medicine, your packaging, your clothes. Everything that gets shipped anywhere on earth runs on runs on oil. Fertilizer that grows your food is made from oil. The plastic bottle your water comes in is made from oil. $200 oil doesn't just mean expensive gas, it means expensive everything. And some things stop existing at all. The last time oil moved this fast was 1973. The Arab oil embargo took prices from $3 a barrel to $12 in just 3 months, a 4x jump. Americans waited in line for hours just to fill their tanks. Nixon imposed price controls. It made everything worse. The economy collapsed into the worst recession in a generation. This was a 4x jump from $3 oil. We're now being told to prepare for a 2x jump from $100 oil. In 1973, a $9 move per barrel broke the entire economy. Nobody on earth has a playbook for what a $100 move does. And he just has this person going crazy. And why is this going on? Well, U.S. officials and Wall Street analysts are now reportedly preparing for the possibility of $200 oil. And I actually have something, I think Bloomberg just came out with something with that's on this timeline. But let's just keep going, guys. Just in, Russia predicts oil prices could exceed $150 as Ukraine bombs Russia's second largest refinery again. They've been bombing their refineries, but lucky for us, they did it again this morning.
No?
Да.
Офигеть!
Охуеть. Бля, сейчас взрывная волна дойдет до нас.
Ты прикалываешься?
Смотри, ебанись.
Может, ты...
Да нормально. Бля, ебать. Ебать там
Ёб
огнище.
твою мать!
Охуеть, вот это, блядь, да.
No?
Да.
Now, this next one is actually good news, especially if you guys know what I've been reporting about my orbs and what I've been trying to tell you. You know, people say it's not real. It's a plane. It's a drone. You're crazy. It's all of that. Sure. They've been seen all around the world. I collect these videos daily and it's been ramping up and it can't be ignored by the mainstream anymore. But look at this. It says, meanwhile, last night over Helsinki, Finland, even local news channels were reporting on mass sightings of orbs over the Finnish capital. The number of worldwide sightings is increasing again. Is there any audio? No audio. So you can see the orbs there. which I believe are angels. I've seen them as Ezekiel wheels as well as cherubim. Look, they even will appear in pairs like that, guys. Those are orbs. They can transform shape. They could look like fireballs. Even we have caught them looking like planes. There is a whole thing I can go into that. Some people say, well, they're all demonic. No, the people I talk to, the people that have been studying this, myself, it's just not. It's just not. I even have played videos of people of them responding to the name of Jesus, like and like glowing brighter and coming. And I've had a peace about them, praying about them, reading scripture, and God has given me a peace, especially with this work that I'm doing. And really, they have helped keep my eye on the supernatural. That there is a war right now going on in heaven. There is a war, right? That the Bible talks about. And right now, there are demonic entities that will be roaming the earth during the tribulation. The Bible says that Nephilim, okay? These are half human, half demon hybrids that were roaming the earth during the times of Noah and after, it says. And then there'll also be demonic creatures coming out of the pit of hell. This is what they're going to call aliens. Right. And these creatures, and again, that's a layered thing, but I'm saying for me, this is good news because it just makes me just see, wow, with all of the world collapsing, with them trying to bring in the beast system, God is still showing us these signs. And Jesus himself, there's a reason why Jesus said during this time of war and famine and all these things that are going to be taking place, that there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars for us to look up and to know that our redemption is drawing near. There have been signs that I've played in the sun, moon, and the stars. Right? These orbs that appear as orbs, the stars are angels, angelic beings. And so this is in the Bible. So when I see those things, that's what gets me like, wow, I've never seen the culmination of the things here on earth that Satan is doing to bring about his beast system, his one world government, and trying to destroy humanity. But at the same time, we see God's greatness and goodness, and we see these birth pains of the earth that science can't explain. Also, they've come out with and said that the days are growing shorter and shorter, and science can't explain why. The Bible says that God had to make the days shorter in the last days or no one would survive. So we're seeing that ramp up because as tribulation is coming upon us soon, those days have to grow shorter or no one would last. No one would last. And now even science, every single thing that's in the Bible, it is backed up by science. And the scientists are perplexed and don't know what to say. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay. Oh, well, massive blaze at a plastic factory in Indonesia. This is very important for us, guys, because I told you with the oil shortage, this hits our plastics, but plastics are in every single thing that we need. I showed you how this is going to hit MRI machines, the diabetic medication, the syringes, even nitrite gloves. Like there's a medical crisis that's looming. So this is on top of the shortage, but now we're seeing these specific facilities getting hit as well. From what? All these random fires and explosions. They're purposely being hit.
Ya. Ini masuk sini bang, bang. Bang, ini masuk sini bang ya.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Allahu Akbar. Ya Allah. Ini nggak bisa pakai apar. Pakai
Okay, so you get the idea there. Well, this is another post about the orbs. I'll just read it. It says on the 29th of March 2026 in Helsinki, Finland, a local news company put out an article showing UFOs fly all over the skies above the city. There is something bigger happening worldwide. Now, this is somebody who follows UAPs, UFOs. Again, I am seeing people who are not Christian. They're not talking about Christ. They're not talking about world experts. Like I said, the documentary, all these experts in different fields are saying the same things that line up with the word of God. And they just, something's happening. What is everyone's confused and perplexed. Well, this is what's happening. All right. Jim Ferguson, he says, when the system stops, food disappears, famine warning. This isn't about fuel. This is about survival. If this continues, food prices spike because that affects our food, transporting food, growing food. There's a a worldwide shortage now because of the Strait of Hormuz, and this is a byproduct of oil. Fertilizer, even here in the U.S. If you haven't seen what's going on with the farmers, even here, but this is going to cause a catastrophic famine around the world. Experts, one of the experts I played, he estimated 1.2 billion people alone will die. And he did that video like last week if the Strait of Hormuz doesn't open soon and what we're seeing. So 1.2 billion, because they want depopulation. They want people to die. That's part of the plan. Because they just want enough humans to survive that they can keep as, to enslave, right? But not so many that they don't want to have to deal with all the billions of people that are out here, which they don't think contribute to society or won't serve their purpose. Okay, so but I'll continue. If this continues, food prices spike. That's the warning. But the reality is worse. Oil isn't just what powers your car, it powers the entire system. Oh, it got a whole thing. In fact, let's just play it and then maybe I'll read it some more.
Now, this, if it continues, will inevitably, especially when it comes to the inflation increasing potentially, the interest rates increasing potentially, make food prices actually spike as well. We've seen over the last few years massive increases in eggs and milk and all sorts of other normal food products. But the thing is, if this continues, because oil is such an integral part of everything that we do, people don't realize that the price of oil or any kind of scarcity of oil is going to affect not just what you put into your cars, but it's going to affect everything else. In terms of that, I mean, do you see a situation coming where there could be major disruptions to supply globally as well? Because I know that India is now saying we've got big problems when it comes to availability for fuel, and Australia have seen 500 filling stations, petrol stations, run out of fuel just within the last few days.
Yeah, the just-in-time world we live in, where everything is just in time in terms of a supply chain, it's a big problem. India has problems, and part of the de-dollarization, part of the hypocrisy of what the United States is kind of doing is saying to India, fine, you know what, we'll let you buy Russian oil right now. We're going to lift the sanction just for now because of what we're doing here, but that's okay. We're going to take the oil that is already on the water that the Iranians put out there. We're going to unsanction that too because of what's going on here. The benevolence, the image, I don't think shows up well across the globe. And you're right, energy touches everything. Anything that's you're wearing, the set that you're sitting in. Same with me. Anything you ate this morning, the toothbrush that you brush your teeth with, anything is a byproduct of oil, whether it means it was made by it or transported to the shop. You're right, it is. And if I don't know what the situation was as much in Europe. I know they had issues with crops and issues with farmers protesting and burning crops and all that kind of stuff we saw in the last few years. But in the United States, it was the same thing. Major infrastructure with food has been over the last several years. I don't know how many chicken processing and egg processing plants burned down over the last few years. If you Google it, it's shocking. And you're right, we are walking headfirst into, if this continues, a problem with food. And could it really bring an issue of famine? Yeah, it could in certain parts of the world. These are the consequences of what is happening, and whether they're visible up front or we begin to see them. I think if this is a drawn out event, yeah, you'll start to see things like that very vividly as oil prices go much, much higher.
And I believe, I want to say 3 days ago, the US's largest egg manufacturer uh, facility, that suddenly caught on fire. Oh, and if you don't know, millions of acres of farmland it's burning up all throughout Nebraska right now. I did a report on it. It's been mostly ignored by the mainstream media, but yeah, it's a wildfire that cannot be contained. So farmers are getting decimated. Like, I mean, it's it is a complete wasteland. But that is part of the process as well. They don't want you eating real food, right? They don't want that energy consumed by actual farms. They want to get rid of farmers. This is a well-known agenda. They want everything, all the food you eat, to be bioengineered, and then you to be allotted a certain amount that you can eat based on how much carbon even the bioengineered food produces. So then you have on packaging, you'll see it in some places now. Somebody posted pictures of it in the UK, starting to roll out quietly, where they have the number. Instead of just number of servings, it says the number on it that each serving will have to your carbon your carbon allowance for that day for food, guys. It's not just emissions, your car and all that, and travel. No, guys, your food, because every single thing we do, they have made it so that every single thing we do, it has a carbon footprint. So that's part of it, to track your carbon intake. And then once you're done, once you've eaten your carbon allotment for the day, no more food, no more water. They're saying even is carbon, your carbon footprint. I've told you what the plan is. And Bill Gates, of course, is spearheading this bioengineered meat and all that. I discovered that through the Campbell soup 3D printed meat. And then I went down the rabbit trail and I found out that this bioengineered meat and butter, it's already been contracted with airlines, schools, hospitals, and prisons. And then some restaurants are now serving it, but they don't have to disclose that to you that it's bioengineered. Just so you know, right? So that's another mechanism for them to control things. They don't want people to be able to grow their own food. That goes into layers if you've been following anything, about the if you've been following anything about the farms. All right, here's another one. War on food. USA gives coordinates, and Ukrainian drone strikes hit major fertilizer facilities in Russia. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this plant name, but it's shut down after deadly attack. Another plant, major phosphate producer, was hit. Another plant, chemical plant, another key facility targeted. At the same time, Russia restricts fertilizer exports. China cuts exports. Middle East conflict blocks up to 30% plus of global supply. Prices are rising. Supply is shrinking. This doesn't just hit farmers. This hits food prices worldwide. Are we watching the start of a global food crisis? Oh, and this is redacted. I won't play it. It's like their full podcast, but let's just see what they say. Agenda 2030 was never about poverty or hunger. It was always about controlling how you live, eat, travel, and own property. The Iran war didn't pause it. If anything, it accelerated it. Because it's not a real war. This is a strategic energy infrastructure, I guess, destroying. They're purposely trying to collapse the industry infrastructure around the world. This is the conversation they don't want happening right now. So, okay. Oh, here we go.
Listen to this. A new global lockdown is coming and it's getting serious. This time it's all about energy. Countries are rationing gas. Some are putting limits on how much fuel you can buy. Others are even grounding flights. Slovenia has already become the first country in Europe to implement fuel rationing. South Korea is doing the same thing. They're putting QR codes at the gas pump that limits how much gas each citizen can buy. The Philippines is trying to ground all flights because they don't have any fuel. American Airlines has cut flights by 5%. Governments around the world are trying to push work-at-home mandates to save fuel. Even the International Energy Agency is trying to restrict non-essential travel. Now, does this sound familiar? In 2020, we were told that lockdowns would only last a few weeks. It lasted years. Now, instead of a health crisis, we could be entering a period of peak energy, and that could be just as dangerous as a virus. This is bigger than the COVID lockdown. This is a system shift. Follow me if you want to understand where all of this is going.
The pandemics are coming too. They've said it, guys. Part of the when they talk about QR code, well, that's going to be permanently embedded under your skin. The technology is out. Bill Gates has already unveiled that. We did a report here. It is Neuralink is not the mark of the beast. That is a control mechanism that they want, right? That is a control mechanism. Digital ID is a control mechanism. But the mark of the beast means you have to deny Jesus Christ and worship the Antichrist. You have to purposely make that choice and get the mark of the beast, right? It's not going to be something that's vague or you're doing it because you have to survive and work or whatever because, life is going, depending on that. No, it is you purposely take the mark of the beast, worship him as God, saying that he is God and deny everything else, right? But it's embedded with technology and AI. And probably those who get the Neuralink, they'll say you'll get extra social credits, score. Yeah, you'll get more because they want a collective consciousness. This is what Elon Musk talks about. And if you don't know, there's these massive tent facilities that they're building for ICE, right? For detention centers for ICE. They're completely empty. No one's going to. If there are people being deported, they'll just be deported. No, they are, and they've actually talked about slowing that down now. That's a whole nother video. But do you know, next to all of these detention centers is a Neuralink facility? Guys, if people have been, I discovered this last year. I wasn't ready to talk about because I just didn't know it was a woman. It was a reporter. She started to tie these things together, and she's just like, "Why is there always next to these detention centers that are empty that they're building that there's a Neuralink center? What do you think that's for? No. What do you think that's for? During tribulation. What do you think that's for? Okay. All right. Again, more people who are like into UFOs and all that saying something strange flew over Helsinki last night, not a natural phenomenon. And then I'll just play this. It says harsh penalties for driving during fuel crisis. Australia is in turmoil. The oil there is, it is just a huge crisis. I've been watching videos, truckers there, farmers there. They don't have any oil and no way to get it. But now they are getting put under lockdown restrictions. They also have digital ID there, and they're also one of the first countries to implement age verification to use the internet. So in order to verify that you are not under 16, because they want to protect the children, they're doing that here as well. Okay. They're doing that here. I've been warning about it for months. It's under legislation now. They want to repeal Section 230 of the internet, put up all of these different laws. But of course, because of the war and things, no one's paying attention. But essentially in Australia, in order to use the internet, you have to have digital ID just to use it. Not just social media, but to get on the internet itself, you have to prove that. But it's not to protect children, okay? Children under 16. It is so that you are forced to get digital ID. But this is just a short clip of what's going on there.
So what do these emergency measures look like then? Well, I'm going to quote directly from the Australian government here. Priority allocation of fuel to emergency services, defence, hospitals, police, etc. An immediate ban on recreational driving and non-essential vehicle use with harsh penalties for offenders. Again, same playbook as we saw during the COVID lockdowns.
So like I told you guys, if I just go down the front page of my of X and just keep scrolling, I just was like, there's just no point in me putting these into a specific order because it's just all the same. We haven't felt the full impact of the Hormuz crisis, but soon we will. Loaded ships en route outside of Hormuz are still arriving with voyage times from 20 to 30 plus days. Asia, most deliveries stop on April 1st. Australia, most deliveries stop on April 20th. Africa, most deliveries stop on April 20th. United States, most deliveries are stopping right about now. The real pain is about to begin. Markets won't like it. Expect yields up, markets down. So, and this is just someone, they're hoarding gas, starting to hoard gas in the UK. This woman putting bags of gas. I didn't even know you could put them in sealed bags. And this is where I was referring to earlier. The U.S. government officials and Wall Street analysis are starting to consider the prospect that oil prices might surge to an unprecedented $200 a barrel. Oh, it will. And it will continue to get even higher than that, guys. Even higher than that. And we haven't even gotten to all the other things that are going to, I mean, I could just keep going on, but I think that is enough for this video for you to see where this is all headed. And I am telling you now, we are in the last days. I don't say that, just because there's a couple things, but I've been studying this for months. And when God woke me up last year, I said, nah, no more politics. None of it matters. None of it matters. It's all theater. It's all a game, because it's always supposed to get to this point that we're at. It's always supposed to be under this one world government, under a control grid for the beast system. For the beast system. But again, I want to remind you, signs and wonders of Jesus Christ's return are all around us, not just the beast system rising, but supernatural things that we are seeing. And I believe this is why the orbs are with me every single night, because I asked God for a sign. I didn't even know about these things. And then on New Year's Eve, I start seeing, I'm like, what is that? Those aren't fireworks. Those are, and then lo and behold, every single night. We call them Bobby over here. Now, one of the ways you can help support the ministry, the work that I have going on, get the word out, tying real world events and news to biblical prophecy, actually being a watchman, looking for the signs and wonders of Jesus Christ's return, and giving people hope in all the darkness, because things will not get better. It will continually get worse, but it was all planned this way. The enemy planned for us to be discouraged, planned for us to not recognize this. This is why I think half of the reason for the chemtrails, guys. Not only to poison us, poison our food, our water, and all of that, but I think also the clouds, trying to hide things. I noticed when the orbs, when I'll see some chemtrails out earlier, and I was like, oh gosh, it's going to be a bunch of clouds tonight, like a sheet of clouds for miles. And then I can't see the orbs as well. They still find their way, but I've even recognized that they don't want these signs and wonders out here. This is why they keep calling them drones, but they can't ignore it anymore, because God is more powerful and he's sending signs. And then there's even a website that shows you all the people that report seeing not orbs, but meteors, things that look like meteors. So they're not always orbs that they report, but they're like fireballs. And it's crazy the number that are not reported ever, ever. I could not believe when I actually found the website through Stefan Burns, any of you guys who watch him. So one of the ways that you can help me get the word out, continue this ministry and this work, is by going to realmelanieking.com. That is my merch store. Unique things you will not find anywhere else. And they're just great ways to let people know, listen, normal is not coming back, y'all. Jesus is. And I have that front and back, the cross there for men, women. A lot of great things that are custom that you won't find anywhere else. But another way that you can help support is just become a member. Just become a member. It's just a couple of bucks a month, and that helps things to keep going while we are in these times. And we want to stay watchful of all these different things. Even things that it won't always be what's happening now. I've even brought you guys history, how even computer technology, all the things they said they invented. Maybe I should start doing those stories. Like, we didn't invent the TV. We didn't invent the cell phone. We didn't invent any of that. They lied about all of our history. All of our history. Do you hear what I'm telling you? All of it. And it's easily provable. But no, we've been indoctrinated by the school system that tell us it's one way, but it's not. Guys, they've hid the supernatural. All the technology that we see, it's fallen angel technology. I've talked a little bit about Tartarian, the buildings and the free energy, things that have happened and that have happened, and they have hid the complete truth. I mean, the story of how the television was invented is so absurd, guys. I just cannot believe we haven't questioned it till now. How they built, I think is it Yankee Stadium? I think is it Yankee Stadium? It's one of these stadiums. I can't remember right now. Where they were saying with horse and buggy, hammer and chisel, while living in like wooden shacks, they built these monumental structures in less than 2 years. I think it's 700,000 tons of granite and limestone and steel, with all the levels above, plus the underground levels in the tunnel below. They said they built that in less than 2 years with horse and buggy, hammer and chisel. We could not do that today with unlimited resources in less than 6 years. 6 years is a bare minimum, and that's a struggle. That's like being really, really generous. But they could do it back then in under 2 years. Have you looked at the world fairs? Have you looked at, like, none of it makes sense. Have you looked at our Capitol building? Have you seen the little G on every single major monument and building in DC? The compass with the G? Have you seen it? Have you seen the things that mimic Baal and Moloch? Baphomet? Have you seen the statue of George Washington? Mm-hmm. Guys, everything they've told us is a lie. When I tell you the deception is so great, our minds cannot begin to fathom what the prince of the air, the God of this world, little g God, Satan, has done to deceive us in this time, in this moment. And there's a reason for the deception. There's a reason for this deception right now, because he does not want us to be looking up as Jesus commanded us to. Does not want us to be looking up for our redemption. But now the signs and wonders and the plan is so obvious and laid bare, and it is unfolding before everyone's eyes. Even the unbeliever cannot deny it anymore. So we're seeing this more and more. So I want to bring you more stories about that, because it gives me a piece to understand that it's always been a lie. It's always been a lie. And once you start to unpack and unroll all the programming that they've done, it actually gets easier to just trust and believe what the Bible says, and it comes to life in a way I didn't know was possible. So anyway, guys, the ways that you can support me get this workout, realmelanieking.com, becoming a member, and other ways, that will be listed below in the description box. But yeah, guys, fun times, okay? It is fun times for those of us who believe. Just trust. God is coming through, and we will not be left here to suffer this wrath. So I will see you on the next one.